Bigbossjock radio show. Listeners are encouraged to rise up, confront the U.S. government, kick off the revolution, liberate the Confederate States of America. The Alamo, placed as the Capitol. Analyst assessment. Episode 39. No, add on another 20. Be right on time. 59. Episode 59. Analyst assessment. Video being assessed, posted by NBC News, entitled Watch Live, Trump Participates in Immigration and Border Security Roundtable. Posted April 5, 2019. Airtime 52 minutes, 2 seconds. Enter into the clip 34 minutes, 12 seconds. Before beginning, going to make another mention. Court, May 23rd. If this happens to be past May 23rd when listened to is this broadcast, well, that court date passed. It was a preliminary hearing. The case should be dropped. If the case is not dropped, still would encourage those who could be of assistance make an appearance at the courthouse. When are the court dates? Let known the police that the public's aware. Their actions won't be tolerated. Sexual assault of the citizenry, not held accountable for their actions. The protester, out on their doorstep month after month, arrested, facing prosecution. One of the felony charges is gave false information, stated the official. When I stated, birth name is Earl Hawkins, placed at the U.S. Secret Service since 1988. That's U.S. Federal Agent Earl Hawkins. And to be specific, Earl Hawkins is the name. First, middle, last, and maiden. That's right, that's me. Mother's maiden, not mine. No, that is my birth name. Hawkins. Doesn't change, though it does for the women when they marry. My legal name is Earl Hawkins, born in 1970 in Provo, Utah. And they forced me to be auxiliary name. Jean Paul Martineau, born in 1970 in Salt Lake City. I was not born in Salt Lake City, and there's a whole story about my birth in Provo, Utah. I'm being denied my core identity. I'm being held against my will in a U.S. STEM receiver program ran by the USDIA. Multitude of operators at the USDIA are also at the Reading Police Department, allowed to keep me vigiled at all moments. Vigiled them with the surveillance. There's a multitude of operators right at this moment, including right over there at that office, listening to this broadcast live. Oh, they're quite aware. Day in, day out, keeping me trapped. And now I'm facing years of incarceration. They not subjected to any type of investigation. A broken back. They, the operators at the USDIA, extrajudicially extradited me from the country of Peru. None of this is going to be mentioned in the courtroom. The reason for the protest for over 2 years out on the doorstep of the Reading Police Department for over a year and 4 months of it. Nothing other than a knife that was on my hip for 5 months on the doorstep of the Reading Police Department, including they took the knife off of me, arrested me, and then let me go. Didn't appear in court, but threatened me with a bench warrant if I didn't appear in court in December of 2018. Then a day after, I mentioned to the chief of police as he was getting off work with the knife on my hip, yeah, right out on their doorstep. I didn't feel the situation was being handled appropriately, that there was no type of investigation, and that the complaint that I brought the Reading Police Department in December of 2017 was denied. And he replied, the chief goes by Chief Moore, though he has another name, a birth name, quite different. He's a masquerader. Part of the charade. Yeah, the chief, front man for the others, the USDIA operators. Right there at the Reading Police Department. Vigilant this program. Vigilant me all day, all night. I have RF transmitting out of my body at all times. That's not going to be admitted into the courtroom either, according to the public who calls themselves a defender. Well, he says that's okay. The government can go ahead and place a tracker. That's been proven, and he knows a court case about that, and it was on a car. Well, my head isn't a car, and I wasn't agreed about having that tracker permanently placed in my head between the skull and the brain, and, well, I feel differently. Well, the law's the law from what the professionals are saying, and I need to represent myself. Is there any lawyers out there that could make some mentions on how to make a motion? I need the one that the appeals motion, and there's one about a wobbler. I don't know, but there's five motions I believe I need to know in the state of California, and then I need to present a defense. I'm not being allowed a lawyer. I'm kept at indigent level, shot a multitude of times. No civil suit lawyer wants to make contact, made notifications out there, and the internet rolled. Not part of any social gathering site. No one knows me. And, well, I haven't been able to catch the attention of anyone. I can't understand why a civil suit lawyer wouldn't want to pick up on a suit. Well, which direction? I mean, from the health injuries or the health conditions, or the, say, such as starring on Grizzly Adams and being the show Grizzly Adams in 1974, the known actor, lead actor, charged, well, never charged because the investigation was halted. Multitude of accusations aired on the television, the news, not just local. It was a national program. No more Grizzly Adams, child violator. Multitude of accusations from the children that worked on the set, part of the production. I'm one of those children. Those eyes can be matched, so can my size, and that's me. And that's not the only. There's one after another, 18 different movies. Why am I an extra on Captain Kangaroo? And, well, a multitude of others. Shows, programs. 18. And the U.S. government says I have nothing to do with them. That's why I continue to be in that courtroom. I'd appreciate some assistance. Any U.S. federal agents out there knowledgeable of that information? Hundreds of pages posted on the true conspiracy. No, it's the real. It's real conspiracy. The real conspiracy forum. Hundreds of pages. Details pertaining to the USDIA. Details only an operator could know, someone on the inside of the operation. To know those details. They could make a mention in the court. They might not know me personally, though they know about those cases, and to have that information being placed publicly and by, well, the one being prosecuted, though should be termed persecuted when investigated is the case, because the Reading Police Department has been able to operate with impunity, able to invoke U.S. national security anytime they deem necessary. That's how they stay in place. That's what's running the nation. The USDIA, a select group of people, they're permanently placed in control. U.S. national security, the law of the land, nothing higher, nothing is over U.S. national security. Whoever has the highest clearance at the crime scene takes charge. They're in command. That's the law of the land. Analyst assessment, episode 59. 34 minutes, 12 seconds. Pantomime motion, computer generated. Statement made, Don, please. Same while pantomime, sign language. Canned, go ahead. Introduce self before the group. Though it was with pantomime and one word, please. What's going on is the listener's being conditioned to interpret pantomime. That can be problematic. What about when the hand signal gives the authority order to say yes when the subject should have objected, though keeps getting the hand signal to authorize, accepts, conditioned to be obedient, gives away nation, stays with the placing belief in the deception, allows self to be ushered underground, forced regulations, new requirements, whether they're above or underground, being subjected to another form of governance, much more oppressive. Think to self, listener, why such an effort to place forth a high level of deception? What's the intention? Now that is discovered, computer generated is the dialogue. Placed by the USDIA. Who's in control of the Yankee USA? Is that the president? Or could it be there's another group, something sinister taking place? Such as a shadow government with shadow identities. Time to be opening one's eyes. And now that they've realized, get out there. Kick off the revolution. Be part of the solution. Liberate the Confederate States of America. Do not tolerate the breakup of the U.S. territory. 34:12. The pantomime motion went in conjunction with the pleas. Viewer needed to interpret, associated very strongly, entered into the abstract. From one motion, needed to understand, introduce self before the group, go ahead, with one pantomime motion. Instead of the use of words, pantomime. The viewer, in the abstract, accepted not named officials, addressed the public. Official wasn't introduced. Simply a please mentioned. Nor was filmed. Hooded judge tribunals? Future be no need, people will obey. Orders from a screen, presented as the logo Homeland Security. Move 2 steps back, we're too close to the tracks. Incessant commands, any small infraction, receive with reprimands. It's gonna be the plan in the underground. Tunnel system with bunkers. Oh, different regulations. Gun confiscation, right there at the entranceway. All planned. About to be put into action. USDIA's making real clear their intentions. Over and over again in these 52 minutes. Continuing on. 34 minutes, 12 seconds. Began to talk, unnamed official, camera slowly pans, while one by one another person appears onto the screen. When finally reaches the presenter, agent, though entire while, spoke while not being seen. Once is in view, still is left unnamed. Exercise of the session done to condition. Public to accept orders from an entity left unnamed. Same while unidentifiable. Just a screen with speakers. Announces orders. And that same technique is repeated again and again. And I had it in, wasn't seen. I didn't replay the clip. I'm not sure that the person ever was seen if the words weren't just spoken. Though I do believe the camera panned all the way to where the agent was visible. Though the entire while, the viewer being conditioned to accept that someone's speaking, they don't appear on the screen, they're not presented, no type of introduction. Statements shouldn't be heeded, shouldn't be paid attention to. It's trickery. It's getting the viewer to accept, such as what was mentioned, nameless, unidentified officials, speaking orders. Next to the screen with the logo Homeland Security, some speakers. The subject being forced to accept the orders, if not being electrocuted once more. If they take note of the image, the conference at Calexico, under the screen is 4 sets of boxes. In the underground railroad system, under the logo, the screen, which analyzes the faces, looks for stress factors, possible suspects. They're given orders, and the enforcement is sent via the boxes. Tasers, electroshock, hop, don't move another time until apprehended, though term questioned further. 34 minutes, 29 seconds. 90 million are planned for the underground. That's what the capacity is. 90 million. That's a lot of money spent, public funds, invested underground. Was the listener aware that their country's leaders invested the worth of the nation into an underground where they planned, the leaders, on not being held accountable, renaming the nation? Was the listener aware of such a plan? It's been taking place for decades. The underground system, where the Yankee United States moved to. That's why the lack of funding for the above ground infrastructure. Yankee Sam's not planning for an above ground future and hasn't been planning in such a way. It's all been about the underground. 34 minutes, 32 minutes. That's not where I want to be found. I don't know about the listener. I enjoy fresh air. I feel that this system is very oppressive. Yankee Sam with the police state. If the listener hasn't had the opportunity to travel to other countries, they don't understand how oppressive the USA has become. It's a police state. Don't step out of line. Be vigilant at all times. Do everything just right. Don't step on any toes. Officials can call the situation as needs be. That's termed Yankee justice. It's quite a system. Those with money receive justice. Those who are economically disadvantaged are incarcerated. 34 minutes, 32 seconds. Statement made, Border Patrol agent, no name. Made the camp. That's not his name. And it was slurred. So that it's computer generated. So that the listener cannot understand and accepts that, well, if they are with an accent, when they state their name, it doesn't need to be intelligible. The viewer left with the idea that it's okay when an official identifies themselves, they do so in a manner in which the listener isn't able to repeat the name. That's a problem. Who are they going to say done it when they're at the comisaria? What's the comisaria? The precinct. Yeah, there's a complaint to make. In this case, who would they state? Official made the camp? The comisaria, the precinct will say, Sam Hardy, the autonomous region of California already joined Mexico. Yeah, the precinct. I'm not used to going to the precinct. I used to go into the comisaria. The precinct would respond, there is no official made the camp. 34 minutes. 34 seconds is completely overwhelming. Canned complaints, ethnic intonation, Chicano accent. Highlight the divide between the two groups. Non-Caucasians versus Caucasians. Computer generated. Accent placed. 34 minutes, 37 seconds. Accent of the U.S. Border Patrol agent. Term Border Patrol. Stated, influx of people from Central America are completely overwhelming our agents and our agency. Alice assessment. Known isn't the group. U.S. President, rapist and murderer accuser isn't in the group of our when spoken by a Hispanic. Who is the one that was accused by the accuser? The U.S. president that made such a derogatory statement. Anytime there's a group of Hispanics, it's obvious due to the psychological operation carried out by the U.S. DIA, such as when two teeth are over the lower bottom lip of Don. Well, lower and bottom is about the same place. The two upper teeth, and it looks like he's going to make an F sounding word. He just said F again. Use profanity. Same is with a group of Hispanics or a Hispanic. Anytime one is in the presence, that means any person of ethnicity that is Hispanic is near the president, the racial divide is highlighted due to the psychological operation that was carried out during the pre-presidency. U.S. President Don. The psychological operation placed forth by the U.S. DIA with a computer-generated dialogue. When stated our agents, well as stated our agency, subconscious of the viewer understood the group associated with our is the group of the presenter. Excluded is the accuser, insulter of the group, U.S. President. So our Border Patrol holds different significance. U.S. Border Patrol agents, well as U.S. Border Patrol, is a different group. Make note, usually agencies are of the agency, departments are of the department. U.S. Border Patrol is of the U.S. border. Became Border Patrol described as our agency, which handles the region, our border. Ambiguous name remains. Future date will receive a different name. Nothing to do with the United States. 34 minutes, 42 seconds. Statement made by the official. Left unnamed due to unintelligible was the pronunciation. Computer placed dialogue, computer generated. Made by the U.S. DIA. They put forth the deception. Statement. The apprehension demographic is completely different. Backwards riddle. The statement should have been, demographic of apprehensions has completely changed. The majority of our arrest, those are their interests, were people from Mexico. The statement made by the official. The majority of our arrests were people from Mexico. Served as a backwards riddle. Reason why our arrest, the arrests made, aren't our arrests, U.S. Border Patrol arrests. Because our people is his people, and they're from Mexico. Due to his ethnicity, obvious is the accent, his way. He's Chicano, he's Mexicano, his people, our arrests. Who's the group? Ours. Mexico. Spoke by the official. It's very different than our arrest when spoken by the U.S. president or someone allied to the president. Their hour is different than the Chicanos' hour. They're not the same group. I want only God. He helps me do this rhyme, line by line. I do give my thanks, along with gratitude, for our Father in heaven. It's the Bigbossjock, momentarily signing off.